Hi, this is Glitches in the Matrix number 2. All stories are true and witnessed by Reddit users listed below. These events are from ordinary people witnessing extraordinary events. If you're experiencing any glitches, put it in the comments section, and let us know. You can also email me your stories, and I will include them in my next collection. As always, like and subscribe at the end of this compilation. Hi, I'm LevitatorInElevator on Reddit and this is my glitch about missing time. So once I got down from the plane and went to the baggage claim area, and saw that my bag was the only one on the carousel, and the screen had a message saying, "Last bag." I was so confused cause like I went straight from the plane to the baggage claim area, and it was less than 5 minutes. I was surprised that everyone that was in this full flight picked up their baggage in less than 5 minutes. It was really weird, as if I had lost like 30 to 45 minutes of my time. There was no one else at the carousel, and it felt like I spent 30 to 45 minutes somewhere when I actually walked straight from the plane to pick up my baggage. This airport was very familiar to me and I must have used it 100 plus times. Hi, I'm Meep123 on Reddit and my glitch is about the White House on the street. My 3 best friends, 2 20-years-old females and 1 male, and I began hanging out pretty much every day beginning our senior year of high school. For the purposes of the story, I will refer to my 3 friends as K, H, and C. We live in a typical suburban neighborhood. We would also hang out at K's house nearly every day after school, and always hung out consistently during college breaks and such. So we were driving on K Street a lot. Since we began hanging out, whenever we drove onto K Street, I always saw the White House that was on the right-hand side when you first turn in. We never talked about the house, but just like anyone notes their surroundings, I had that White House ingrained in my head as part of the street. During our sophomore year of college, we were all home on a break. C and I were driving to K's house and I turned onto the street and immediately noticed something was off. There was no White House. C had the same realization at the same time, and having never talked about the White House prior, we both said at the same time that the White House was gone. When we got inside K's house, we told her the White House was gone, and she was incredibly confused. She asked us what we were talking about, we explained, and she said that no White House had ever been there. She and her parents insisted we were just confused because trees were cut down. Yes, trees were cut down, but more importantly the White House was completely gone. They had no clue what we were talking about and even showed us old pictures to prove the White House was never there. H soon arrived and we explained the whole situation, and he remembered the White House too. To this day, C, H, and I have no idea what happened to the White House on the street. And K, her parents, and neighbors insist it was never there. To clarify any confusion, the entire house disappeared. There was a White House there for years, and now all of a sudden there is no building there at all, just open grass. Hi, I go by theclassifieds on Reddit and my story is about a daily airplane glitch. I've thought about writing this post for a while but today is what drove me to go ahead with it. There are 2 airports not far from my new apartment. There is an international airport 10 miles away and a military airport 3 miles away. I hear planes go over my apartment all day. Some are normal planes and some are military jets and stuff. Ever since I moved here a few months ago, I've noticed something I can't quite figure out. Once every few days, sometimes daily, a certain plane will go over and my power will go out for a moment or two, and it gets super dark outside and inside, even with my windows open, like everything turns black. At first, I thought maybe the plane was covering the sun for a moment or the airwaves were messing with the electricity. I couldn't find anything about that online though. It also goes incomprehensibly dark like the sun turned off or something and everything along with it. I know I'm not crazy because my son always sees it too and asks about it. Anyway, today we were outside on the balcony and I noticed a lot of normal, commercial, planes went over without it happening. We went inside shortly after and I heard the extremely loud sound of an airplane or jet and everything went dark. I ran to the balcony to look to see if there was anything near the sun that could have covered it, but it was already light outside again and there was nothing near the sun or anywhere. It was a clear day and I can see the whole sky from my apartment. I was outside the second after it happened and I could even hear the plane or jet still, as if it was right above us, but I couldn't see it. I'm so confused. Hi, I'm Fruit Snack on Reddit. My glitch is about headphone that somehow changed to a different one that isn't mine. I don't know where else to post this because it's so minor, but I am losing my mind over it. This just happened and now I'm so confused. I have no explanation. So, I have a headset that I have used for the past 2 years. It is the only one I own and have ever purchased, and during COVID I used to use it every single day. I still use it every couple of days to listen to music or talk to friends when I'm doing online schoolwork. So, I am very familiar with its quirks: slightly broken right earpiece, chew mark from the cat on the cord, scratch on the band. Here's the thing. My headset has a red and a green jack connector for the audio and voice out/input to plug into my laptop. I have had to use my phone's flashlight countless times to make sure I was plugging each one in the right spot when it's dark. It's second nature at this point. I mean, I have just stared these things down so many times. So many. I know the red goes on the left and green on the right, and by now, I can usually tell which is which from just feeling them. But today, there I was going to plug my headset in, and instead of a red connector, it has a USB. Still the same green jack connector, right where it always is, but the red one gone. And in its place there's a USB connector. There's no missing wire, there's no frayed end, there's no explanation. It's my headset, same quirks and all, and there's nobody else that lives here that could have possibly swapped them. It's such an innocuous thing, but that's why I'm going crazy. I definitely did not misremember the way I had to plug this thing in for the past couple of years, but I feel like I teleported to a slightly identical dimension. I really can't explain this, and the more I talk about it, the crazier it sounds. Hi, I'm Leoburge on Reddit and my glitch is about my socks that gain polka dots. I have several pairs of socks with woodland creatures on, foxes, bears and badgers. This morning I put on the first sock. Then the second, and noticed after over a year of wearing them that the second sock had green polka dots between the foxes. I look back to my first sock and there are no polka dots. They're supposed to be an identical pair. I dug out the others from the set and all of these now have polka dots on, except that one fox. They never used to have polka dots on, and now I have one odd sock out of a set of 6. I swear it's the other 5 which are wrong though, like I visibly confirmed and locked the first sock into existence and then the others changed at that point in time. I have tried to find the socks online to confirm via pic, but they are no longer sold. Weird. I actually don't like them much anymore with the spots, and my wife was shocked when I pointed it out. She bought them for me. Hi, I'm Indigowulf, and want to tell you why I think I am the glitch. My mom, manager, boyfriend, and bestie all say I have brown hair. The customers that say I'm blonde all say I had brown hair, but they insist I dyed it. One called me a liar today and got mad when I brought it up with him and told him I had not dyed it. I almost feel like I'm being punked, but the man that got mad is like in his 60s. I work at a gas station. I have a lot of regulars, plus a ton of people who are just passing through. When I was very young, I had platinum blonde hair. However, I grew out of it and my hair turned very brown by the time I was 5. This isn't rare, it's just backstory. At this point, my hair is starting to get lightly sprinkled with gray, but it's still brown. The weird thing is, I have one regular that started calling me Blondie. When I asked him why, he said because of my blonde hair, with a tone that let me know he wanted to say, "Duh." I told him my hair was brown and gray. He looked really confused, and I haven't seen him come in since, even though he's an everyday customer. Then, I started having regulars compliment me on my recent hair dye job. They all tell me it looks so much better. I have not dyed my hair. I have only been working at this place about 4 months, so it's not like my hair has changed color much naturally in that time. I'm so confused. When I look in the mirror, I still see gray bits on brown. However, it seems like several other people are looking at me and seeing blonde until I bring it up, then they freak out. Hi, my name is Edymnion on Reddit, and this is my glitch, about the pickle jar that vanished. This is a short story, but very strange. Okay, this one just happened a few minutes ago, and we are utterly baffled. We had a large mason jar of homemade pickle spears on the counter. I was making cereal and accidentally knocked the pickle jar off the counter and into a pile of groceries we hadn't put up yet. My wife and I both saw it fall, and neither of us can find it. We went through every bag. We looked under everything. We looked in the crack between the fridge and the counter. We saw it fall, we were standing right next to it. But it is just freaking gone. It no longer exists in this plane of existence. How does a large jar of pickles just vanish with 2 grown adults watching it happen? Hi, I'm Catscanary on Reddit and my glitch in the Matrix story about On Hold in Reno. I just got back from vacation in Lake Tahoe, and it was incredible. On my way to the airport in Reno, Nevada for the return flight, I decided to make a stop at a pharmacy to pick up some things I would need for the flight. I had my boyfriend put a GPS directions to the closest one, and it took us to Walgreens. Unfortunately, there was some event going on in the city and what should have been a 1-minute drive took about 10. It was a behemoth of a store, but the parking lot was completely empty except for a few people loitering outside the store. I had a weird gut feeling, but we went in and grabbed what I needed and went to the checkout. We waited for a few minutes while Carly Rae Jepsen played on the speakers. The person in front of us at checkout was trying to do a return, and it wasn't going well, so the cashier called someone else over to help. They both seemed extremely stressed that we were waiting and offered to check us out at another register in the back of the store. Not being in a rush, I told them it was okay and to just take their time, I would wait. They seemed relieved and started working on the problem. As soon as I had said that, the music transitioned to the famous opus number 1, Hold music. My boyfriend and I looked at each other and thought it was a strange coincidence that as soon as we acknowledged that we were on hold in the queue that this music started up. 5 or more minutes passed and the cashiers were still working on the problem but also joking and talking with this person and having him sign up for a card and all this extra nonsense. The hold music continued to play. We were both giggling and commenting on how weird it was, and my boyfriend even recorded it. We waited some more, and I started to feel like we were in a simulation. No one had walked in or out of the store in the 10+ minutes we were in line, and from what I could tell we were the only people in the store on what should be a busy Saturday afternoon. As soon as the cashier that came over to help looked up and said, "All right, I can take you on the register now," the music changed back to the normal in-store playlist. It was so odd and it gave me an uneasy feeling. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there are music controls at the register that put on hold music. It didn't seem like the cashier pushed any buttons either. We paid and walked out and we were still the only car in the parking lot. I tried to convince my boyfriend that that was a simulation or a glitch, but he wasn't buying it. That it was just a coincidence. Posting to see if this is standard practice or if you think it's a glitch too. TLDR, waiting in checkout line, music transition from pop to hold music and back, perfectly coinciding with being acknowledged by the cashier. I was on hold for about 10 minutes. Glitch or coincidence? Hi, I'm ilyatytwtmab on Reddit and this is my glitch, about the lost pasta spoon. I don't know if this even qualifies. It's so minor. We lost a pasta spoon and looked everywhere it could have been. Every drawer in the kitchen was emptied, one item at a time. We can't find it, nowhere. We even put on gloves and went through the trash. But find nothing. So we bought a new pasta spoon. I washed it, dried it, and opened the drawer we had kept the old one in. When I opened the drawer, the old one was right there, so obviously there that we could not have missed it. Hi, I'm newdonkcity on Reddit. And my glitch is objects constantly disappear and reappear. I feel like this is something I've experienced my whole life, but since I've moved it gotten much worse. Often I'll go looking for something and not be able to find it only until the last second when it's where I thought it was the whole time. My partners and roommates experience this and witness some blatant occurrences against me. I just recently had the most egregious happening of all. When I'm out walking I'll usually have my mask around my wrist until I need to enter somewhere. We were moving along and noticed my mask was gone. I stopped and looked around, it hadn't fallen anywhere I could see. I even checked up my arm because I'll often slide them past my elbow, nothing. My partner gave me an extra of theirs, I put it on the opposite wrist and we continue on. A minute later I look down, I have a mask on each wrist. I simply had to stop and shout. I don't know what's messing with me, but they're not even being sneaky anymore. Does anyone else experience these often? I feel it's almost daily at this point. Hi, I'm throwaway050798 on Reddit, and this is my glitch, about the mysterious return of the missing hair scrunchie. Hello all, this is my first time posting. I've spent a lot of time reading through all the glitches, but haven't had my own experience until this year. For some context, this past Christmas my sister gifted me a 2-pack of silky hair scrunchies, a pink one and a black one. I have a 5-year-old daughter, therefore we share hair accessories. Back in April on some random Thursday, I threw my daughter's hair up in a bun using my pink scrunchie as I sent her off to school. She was in preschool, so Thursdays were their last day of the week. I specifically remember asking my daughter to keep the scrunchie in her hair throughout her day at school. When I picked her up from the bus that afternoon, I remember her giving me a very sad look as she was coming off the bus. "Mom, I lost your hair tie at school," she told me. I reassured her. I looked through her backpack. They used the see-through ones so I would have seen it if it were in there, just in case. She didn't wear a jacket or anything that had pockets, not that she would have put it in her pocket, truthfully, and I ended up moving past it and forgetting all about it. Fast forward to that following Monday, I had sent her out the door for school, and that afternoon as I was just about to walk out the door, to grab her from the bus, I noticed something on the ground right in front of the door. I'll be damned if it wasn't that pink scrunchie. There's just no way in hell it sat right there for 4 days without me seeing it as I vacuum every evening. I even asked my daughter when she got home if she had just not remembered bringing it back home, but she said she took it off at school and lost it. Not to mention my search of her that Friday when she came home. It still just makes no sense to me at all. But yeah, if anyone has any explanations, that would be great because my mind is still boggled over it. Hi, I'm sure Woodpecker 4910 on Reddit. This is my glitch, and is about my friend knew something about me, that my other friends had any way of knowing. I'm just pasting this as I tried to post it prior to having enough karma to make a post in this subreddit. This actually took place about a month ago now, and my friends all still confirm that it wasn't a joke at all, and none of them knew beforehand. This just happened yesterday and I remembered this Reddit group and thought it would be interesting to share, and to see if anyone else can possibly explain some other way she would have known. For background, I'm a 19-year-old male and had a sleepover on Saturday, with my group of friends. C is 21 years old and identify as non-binary. A is a 19 years old and identify as non-binary. And D is a 19 years old female and is our other friend. H is a 17 years old female, was meant to spend the night as well, but changed her mind after a stressful week. The plan was I would wake up Saturday morning to go to a college open house at my college campus with H, who is currently in her tour process. After the tour, we would come home and C, A, and D would arrive. We would all be dyeing our hair and play some games like Mario Party and One Night Werewolf. We really like playing games all together like this. C was planning on getting drunk, which we all thought would be fun to witness. After H had already gone home with her new hairdo, and I had elected to cut my hair into more of a shag, I was helping D bleach her hair. We were all laughing as C had just finished attempting to shotgun a can of hard seltzer, keyword, attempt. It got all over my bathroom mirror and walls instead, and A was playing music for us all. D suddenly called me Philip. There are 3 things to know as to why her calling me Philip was so strange. 1. My name is not and has never been Philip. Not even closely related to it either. 2. I'm female to male transgender. My legal name is nowhere close to Philip, and neither is my actual name. 3. My mom was going to name me Philip had I been born assigned male. I froze and said, "How the fuck did you know that?" She said, "No what?" I laughed and said, "No, seriously. When did my mom tell you that, and when'd you come up with the idea for this joke? It's a good one though, you spooked me for a second there." "OP, I don't know what you're talking about. I just think you give Philip vibes, that's it." I explained to my friends that my mom had wanted to name my older brother Philip, but his dad objected and so she saved it for her next kid. When I came out and the doctors declared me female, she scrapped Philip, and her and my dad came up with something else relating to a movie character my mom admired. My friends all confirmed that my mom hadn't mentioned it at any point that day or prior. Normally, I would think they were pulling my leg, but even my mom confirmed and pointed out, why would I even bring that up with them? Given that even my severely drunk friend, C, was dead serious, this friend can't hold water without immediately losing it when drunk. We can't even make eye contact without a, "Don't look at me," an eruption of giggles from C. I'm inclined to trust them. Plus, after how freaked out I looked, they would have spilled the beans by now. D swears that she doesn't know how she knew about it, she just had this feeling that I had Philip vibes, or should have been a Philip. Anyone have any other ideas, 'cause I'm at lost, and I am becoming convinced this was some sort of glitch in the matrix or a case of morphic resonance fields or something. Hi, I'm pmeton317 on Reddit, and this is my glitch, about my car headlight that changed timelines. A few years ago, I was about to turn into my driveway and was having my ass ridden by some guy in his BMW. The street had a crazy curve to it, and to get into my driveway it was sometimes necessary for me to pull a bit closer to the curb to swing the car into the driveway. Well, I slow down and this guy with no patience in the BMW decides to zoom around me. In his defense, I forgot to signal, and he clipped the front of my car, tearing the front bumper off and breaking the driver's side headlight. Luckily nobody was hurt, and beside the guy being a complete asshole, his girlfriend was really sweet. The damage to both vehicles was minimal. I go into the street and pick up the parts of my bumper that flew off and came across the plastic headlight. It was flat, but curved, and I thought I was lucky because when I got hit I thought it had been broken. I bring it over to the car to see if it will fit back on, and it won't. Not because of the damage, but because it was made for the passenger's side of the car. I checked the passenger's side and sure enough the headlight was still there. I tried again and again to see if I was losing my mind, but no matter how I positioned the headlight I found, it was not made to fit on that side, it was meant for the passenger's side. I thought maybe I had picked up someone else's, or maybe that BMW guy's headlight. So I checked the part number against the one on my passenger's side, and sure enough they matched. I showed my dad and my friend and neither could figure it out or explain it. I ordered a new headlight for the driver's side and it fit perfectly. It was like I had picked it up from a timeline where I got hit on the other side. Hi, I'm Inwalksscish on Reddit, and my glitch is about the disappearing man in front of me. This might not be the most exciting story, but it's one to this day I can't explain and probably never will. As a student around 20 years ago, I remember walking home one day around 4 p.m. from the bus station to my parents' house. This walk takes me down a path which runs directly through a graveyard but has no exits leading into the graveyard. It's one big fenced-off path through the middle. As I walked down this path, I noticed ahead of me an elderly man walking in my direction. The sun was out and he appeared to disappear with the light for a second then reappear. As he continued walking he disappeared again down a natural dip in the path. It isn't a massively steep path but does have some ups and downs. The strange part is that he didn't reappear. As I walked closer to where he disappeared from view, I expected to find someone sat out of view on the floor, or even collapsed, but he had gone. As I mentioned earlier, there was no exit from this path other than a metal fence over 6 foot tall. I have no explanation for this. Hi, I'm bro4929281 on Reddit, and my glitch is about the sun on my vacation. I really don't know if there is any science to explain this, but I know people here point out logical conclusions first, so I think this is the right place to post it. A couple of weeks ago, me and my family and another family went on a trip to a rural place in Bavaria for a couple of days. We rented these houses, one for each family, that were on this hill facing the woods and mountains. It was a beautiful place. Our houses were a little far away from each other, about a 3-minute walk. The entire place looked like a little neighborhood of its own. Sometimes my mom would send me or my siblings over to our friend's house to get or return stuff. On our first evening there, I went over at around 9 p.m. and gave them whatever I had to give them. When I started walking back, I stood there for a second because the sun was setting and it looked beautiful. I have a picture of the view. I was a little jealous because our friend's balcony was facing the sunset and looked back at our house, which was almost completely dark already. I thought, tomorrow I will go to our friend's house and watch the sunset with them. I went back home, and as I was entering, my siblings were walking out to go to our friends. I told them to look at the sunset when they are there, and they did. The next day around the same time we ate at the friend's house, and I was excited to show my parents the view, but to my shock the sun just wasn't there. Like, not even a little bit. I looked over to my siblings and was like, "Guys, the sun isn't setting on this side today," and they got as confused as me. I walk out the house, and see that now the sun is setting on our side. I thought, okay, let's see what will happen the next day. The sun kept setting at this new spot from that day on until our trip was over. I have no idea why it changed, and I am glad I showed it to my siblings and I wasn't the only one who saw it. Also, the picture is still there. I just regret not taking a pic of the night it set on the other side. Side note, I know nothing about cardinal points, so sadly I have no idea if the sun was setting on the west. But still, why would it change at all? Hi, I'm salt_rate_7928 on Reddit, and this is my glitch about golf balls changing brands. Okay, so a super weird thing happened the other day, and my friends and I are still trying to figure out what happened. Long lost, I apologize. Went golfing with my buddy at 5:30 a.m., first tee time of the day. I hit my iron off the tee box on the 8th hole, about 180 yards. Give or take a few. Mind you, we are the only ones on the course, and I am playing with a very specific Callaway ball, while my friend is playing with a Bridgestone. We have a clear direct sight into where I hit and where it landed. I get in the cart, and drive over, and when I get to my ball, it's not anything close to the ball I hit. It's some random brand I've never even heard of. I initially thought, maybe I just am picking up a ball from yesterday from some random person, so I continue to look for my ball and it's nowhere to be found, so I just play the other ball that I found. Finished the hole, and after I pick my ball out of the hole, I show my buddy and say, "Have you ever heard of this brand?" And he looked at it closely and said no. So whatever, I throw it in my brand new bag. End of the round, we are putting our stuff in our cars and the ball is nowhere to be found. The grass stains on a specific Callaway ball are identical to the ones on the random one that I hit cause of the divot in the fairway. I thought maybe there was a hole in my bag. But it's brand new. I don't know what the hell happened to the ball, but I teed off with a Callaway, finished with some random brand, and found my Callaway in the bag again at the end of the match. What the hell? We come to the end of this compilation. If you remember any of your own strange experience, let us know in the comments. Or email it to storiescary152@gmail.com.